Now, ESPN college basketball analyst, Big 12 insider Fran Fraschilla once again on BYUSN. Fran, what a time for BYU basketball. If you've been gone for a month, you've missed everything. It's been wild. How are you this morning?
Outstanding. Everything's good here after Memorial Day weekend in Colorado Springs, where I live. I'll tell you about having Jimmer over to the house this weekend with our 3x3 team later, but all is good. And I'm getting excited about Big 12 basketball. I've already started doing some of my roster breakdowns, so we probably have a few things to talk about today.
Yeah, we're grateful that BYU has some of that core back, and that is in large part to Kevin Young. I said what I said in jest about if you've been asleep for the last month, everything has changed. But my goodness, of all the changes, what has surprised you the most about what Kevin Young has done since he's taken over at BYU?
Well, I think honestly, in the landscape of college basketball with this transfer movement, they lost a couple good players that I think they probably would have liked to have kept, but to keep a lot of the guys who did decide to stay and who have a connection to BYU already, obviously, without a doubt. But for Kevin to come in and I think really do a good job of keeping much of the core in place is a tremendous job done by him and then the coaches who are on board. I think Chris Burgess, who I got to know during the NIT when Utah was out in Indianapolis, tremendous addition. Brandon Dunson, I've known, he's a rising star. So I really am pleased from a standpoint of as a Big 12 fan that Kevin has really hit the ground running. The adjustment from the NBA to college. I always tell my college friends, the difference between the NBA and college is like Spanish and Portuguese. They sound like the same language, but they're completely different. And Kevin's last 15 years in professional basketball is going to prepare him in a lot of ways, no question, as far as on the coaching side. But for that staff already to hit the ground running, keep a lot of guys home, add some good young players, I think is a tremendous job.
Fran, Cougar Nation is still abuzz this week because the week began with the announcement of this international superstar heading this way. How does this kid change the game for BYU?
We'll have to see, Dave. You know, like having been very involved with international basketball for the last 20 years, you know, the adjustment from going from the States over to Europe or from Europe to the States, whether it's the NBA or college, is always a little tricky. But this young man, Igor Demin, I actually took 3 years of Russian in high school and college, but this kid is has tremendous potential. He's a 6'8", 6'9" guard, very fluid, very athletic. Has been on the international scene since he was 15, playing for Russia and then signing with Real Madrid as a 15-year-old. So he's been around pro basketball. I'm sure he's practiced a lot with the main Real Madrid team where Doncic played. And I know Luke is a big hero of Igor. But he's an outstanding prospect. I would have to say, trying to translate the competition and the talent, that had he been in the United States, he'd probably be a top 25 high school recruit going to college, which automatically sets him up to have some success as a college freshman.
What I heard in that answer was nothing about the kid. You had 2 years of Russian. Why didn't you go be Kyle Collinsworth's missionary companion over there years ago? You could have fit right in.
You know, Ochin Kodoshur, as we say, very good. You know, no, I took it a long time ago. The Cold War was still going on. I guess maybe it's a good time to learn it even now. But got a chance to do it. It was fun. Lost a lot of my Russian, but maybe Kyle will help me when I come to Provo to do a game next year.
Great stuff. Fran Fraschilla with us on BYU Sports Nation. We've been discussing earlier on the show today, Fran, where BYU basketball's roster stands from a talent standpoint compared to the Cougars last year. And it is wild that we're even having that conversation, given that Mark Pope left for Kentucky, but yet here we are. So when you look at the roster as currently constituted, how does it stack up talent-wise to what BYU had last year?
It's a good question, Spencer. I'm not exactly sure because going into last season, I was concerned about BYU. I think as a lot of people were coming into the Big 12, making the jump from the WCC, and the year before, obviously, was a mediocre BYU season, I think, by anybody's standards. And then to do what they did last year and to have guys step up that I didn't know much about, whether it was Trevin, certainly, Richie Saunders when he got healthy, Big Ollie, Noah Waterman. You go right down the list, and that was a really fun team to watch because they kind of came out of nowhere in the Big 12. Now, the good thing is, although they lost some guys, they've got a lot of key guys back. I'm hoping Davis. I think Davis is coming back, right? Hopefully he's healthy. I got that right. The transfer from Cal Irvine, Baker.
Yeah, Dawson Baker.
Dawson Baker. So Dawson hopefully is healthy. I hear great stuff about him. They've added some good young pieces, as we mentioned. Elijah Crawford this past week, who was supposed to go to Stanford. I think that's still a mystery. Now, having said that, I still think they're an NCAA team on paper, probably top 6 or 7 in the league somewhere, which is good, which means that in an 18-team league or whatever it is next year, I think they have a chance to be in the NCAA tournament. I'm excited to see how Kevin Young's basketball acumen, of which he's got a lot, obviously, given his background, translates to these kids and the Big 12. Coaching is not going to be a problem for Kevin at all. And I don't know Kevin. We've texted a little bit, but I know a lot of people who know him, and they say great things about him. The coaching part, day-to-day, going up against Scott Drew, Bill Self, Kelvin Sampson, he's ready for that, no question about that. I think he's going to put together a great staff, which I think he's already started. And we'll see how these guys who return mature. They should be a year better, obviously, a year more familiar with the league. And then again, the young guys have to adjust to what I think is absolutely going to be the best league in college basketball. Again.
It's decision day for these kids that want to go to the NBA that are still in that mix. They can come back to college by, midnight tonight. Yep. Jaxson Robinson's in that group. Your advice to Jaxson, what should he do?
Come back. I have a son who coaches in the G League right now. I know G League basketball well. I watch a lot of it. Jaxson, I think, had a super year. He had a lot of freedom on that Cougar team, as you guys know. I think if Jaxson, stays in the draft tonight, he may get drafted in this is just me now. But he's drafted probably mid-second round, in my opinion, maybe later, maybe not at all. Absolutely can play in the G League. Maybe he gets a two-way. It's not that hard to play in the NBA like it was 15 years ago because every team has, when you count the 15 roster guys plus the 3 two-way contracts, that's 18 guys. It used to be 12, 13, 14 just, a few years ago. So I think Jaxson should come back, probably be one of the best players in the Big 12, improve his NBA status. If he doesn't mean he's not going to be an NBA player. But I know the G League, as I said, and he'll be a classic G League guy who can use the G League maybe to get better and improve when he's 25 or 26 play in the league. And by the way, if I'm wrong and he's better than that, good for him. But I'm just going by a lot of experience with this. I think he should come back, take advantage of playing for Kevin and that staff and having a great, last season before he takes off for the league and improve his stock.
The great Fran Fraschilla is on BYU Sports Nation. If he decides to come back, he'll be a hot commodity in the transfer portal for sure. I know he's been communicating with Mark Pope in Kentucky as well. So we'll begin that conversation if he decides to come back and see where he lands. But I want to go back to something you said a moment ago, Fran, about the Big 12 being the best conference again. You lose Texas and Oklahoma, and then you bring in Arizona, Colorado, Arizona State, and Utah. And we're all sitting here thinking, holy cow, you lose those 2 brands and the conference gets tougher? Like, is that crazy? Or should we expect the league to be better losing Texas and Oklahoma?
Spencer, with all due respect, I'm going to give you a history lesson here, okay, of the Big 12. You got a taste of it last year. Last year, although, and I say that jokingly, last year, Ken Palm, at the end of the year, for the 9th time in 11 seasons, had the Big 12 ranked number 1 analytically. It was not a vintage Big 12 year because Kansas is usually a 1 seed. They had injuries.
Sure.
Baylor had a couple key injuries, and they played 2 freshmen. And freshmen, again, hard to win in this league with 2 freshmen. Texas Tech lost some key guys. Warren Washington didn't play the last third of the season. There were injuries throughout the league. And that's why I don't think the league did as well in the NCAA tournament. This coming year is back to normal, and it's going to be fun because, quite frankly, Texas was pretty good last year, and Oklahoma was, in the middle of that pack, and they were crushed with injuries. By the way, Houston was crushed with injuries and almost made it to the Final Four. So next year is a vintage Big 12 season. If everybody's healthy, the league is great in the transfer portal. Obviously, some good freshmen coming in, great coaches. Yes, the league will be even better next year. It'll be back to what we expected in recent years, where Texas Tech went to a Final Four, Baylor won a title, Kansas won a title. Houston would have been a Final Four team. I think everybody agrees with that. And again, BYU being in my opinion, top 6, 7, 8.
Ooh.
That's how I would see it right now. That's okay, because that means they're an NCAA tournament team. And I have a feeling that at some point during the season, they'll be in the top 25 again.
Fran, before we get to the Big 12, we're going to get to Paris. You're going to Paris. You're deeply involved in the 3-on-3 basketball team. Jimmer's at your house, you mentioned last weekend. Is the world ready for global Jimmer mania, and can he deliver?
Well, he can. 2 years ago, June 22, I drove up to Denver, where Jimmer and his lovely wife, Whitney, live, and 3 great kids. And I had lunch with Jimmer, and I knew he'd retired from 5-on-5 and overseas and NBA. And we knew each other a little bit. I'd seen him in Shanghai back in 2017 when Harvard played Stanford over there. My younger son played at Harvard, now coaches at Harvard. And so I've known Jimmer through the years, TBT. Obviously, I watched him play. And we had lunch, and I said, listen, if you want to do this, you can actually help us qualify for Paris. It's a new sport, 3-on-3 half court, and he's so competitive, and I think he needed something after his time in China, that he was all in, and he helped us qualify by last November. And the team's been training. They just won a tournament in Japan. We've caught up to the world. We haven't surpassed them yet, but we've caught up. Jimmer is one of the 3 best players in the world at this, maybe the best. And as you guys know, you could not have a better representative of USA basketball and BYU, the university, than Jimmer Fredette. So we're thrilled for him. They're currently in Marseille, France this weekend at a tournament. Then they get on a plane and fly to Mongolia next week. I swear, they're going to Mongolia. And so he's been everything we hoped for. Everybody at USA Basketball loves him. And when he's done with his career, among all the great things he's done, National Player of the Year, NBA lottery pick, he's going to be able to say he represented the United States in the Olympics.
Yeah.
Cannot wait to watch Jimmer compete for gold. Listen, you've recruited a lot of elite players and done some great work in that arena. This one is right up there, Fran, getting him to play 3x3.
I'd have to say that's one of my best recruiting pitches over lunch in Denver. And again, he's still got a game. He's great. And the other thing about 3-on-3 that we call it 3x3, but it's a very new sport, and it's like beach volleyball, but there's only like a handful of people in the whole world that know what this sport is. And when he plays against the Serbians, the Latvians, the Lithuanians, the Mongolians, they know who he is. They love him. It's very competitive, very physical, but there's a lot of camaraderie in 3x3. It's like our own little secret. So I think they don't like competing against him, but they also love to be able to say, we're playing against Jimmer Fredette.
Fran, great to have you on the show once again. Brush up that Russian, maybe work on a little French. I know you have the aptitude for it, and I can't wait to talk more Big 12 basketball with you and 3x3 as we move forward.
Thanks, Spencer. Dave, you guys have a great rest of the spring. We'll catch up soon.
You got it. Fran Fraschilla.